Throughout the MBA course 622, we had multiple discussions, and through these discussions, we also had multiple blogs that were required throughout the course. In this video, I want to address some of the blogs and some of the experiences I had throughout the blogs and the discussion throughout class, and what I've taken away in a sort of a summary type form that I'm going to discuss. One of the last subjects that we blogged about, and one of the last things we talked about in class, were group experiences, which throughout the whole semester we had a group experience. We were separated into groups and worked with this new set of people throughout the whole class, which kind of led into the topics of groups versus teams. At the beginning of the semester, we were by far just a group of people put together, and we had a common goal, but it didn't matter if we were going to work together or if someone was going to do all the work or however it was going to get done. But I do believe as we worked through the semester and had discussions within the class and we had discussions within our own group, we learned things that helped the other people, which helped them tick what they could do to help us to get through. So the group became more as one and meshed. We found different aspects that one person is good at that can help feed off another person. We found aspects that would hurt someone if we did that type of act or activity. So this is how we took this group experience and teams and related it straight to our class and our group. And this can also be related to a work experience, helping a group transform into a team if that's what the goal is. If this is a long-term thing, a team is more likely to mesh and cohere to what the common goal is. So taking that group experience and what we learned about teams and groups is a big aspect as a takeaway. Another thing that we discussed was just intercultural communication, just communication within different cultures, and this is something that will grow as the world becomes more universal. So understanding just basic techniques on how to communicate across culture and taking little tips that we learned through class, such as just like talking to them like you would anyone else. They're not different just because they don't share your culture, but there are aspects that you can share and relate to, such as just a sports team or an activity, a food, something like that, that can bridge an intercultural problem that can share that communication throughout the group. Another aspect was punishment versus reward. Rewards can be intrinsic, so in yourself, or extrinsic, such as like money or raises, things like that that aren't coming directly from yourself. If you can get someone to be motivated by an intrinsic reward, it's so much more helpful than extrinsic, just because you don't always have an extrinsic. Intrinsic can always be coming from that person, but that always doesn't work in the best way. Some people are always going to be motivated by an extrinsic reward. So finding ways to bridge the gap between what motivates someone and how you can motivate them, even if that's destroying a stereotype such as generational motivation, and finding that there's much more similarities than differences throughout all of these generations and cultures and demographics. Also, we discussed punishment, and I've always viewed punishment as something that I thought was a useful tool. You see someone gets punished or you get punished and you no longer want to do that action or whatever you've done to get punished. But as we discussed and people shared experiences and shared different aspects of how punishment had went through the work and their experience, I was able to see that punishment can deter people from even trying. They can stop trying new things. They can stop taking a chance or taking on more challenge when they fail or don't succeed correctly to what the company or a boss thought was expected, and they get punished. They're no longer going to take on that challenge. So this is a huge takeaway, thinking that if you can motivate someone without using a punishment, even though at times punishment is needed, but that should be last case scenario. And if you can motivate someone without that, then they're more likely to respond and do better throughout the job. And one of the very first things that the class touched on is the last thing I want to touch on, and that was just management style. The types of management that we see through managers we have and what type of management we want. I thought this was important to start the class. It kind of showed what kind of leaders you yourself want to be and what kind of leader you want to see throughout your organization. And this kind of set up the whole class as we went through, and just seeing that the manager that I want and my workplace is kind of how I want to model myself. So if I can take those characteristics that I see as a good manager and use them to become that, and then also take what other people are seeing and make myself more rounded through the eyes of other people and not just myself, then I can become the manager I want and also become the manager that the people I am managing need. So this is just a summary of the different topics we had covered and how I could apply them and use them. Thank you.